So my student is Coco. She attends River Glen High School. She's in the 8th grade and she's from the US, but her native language is Spanish. Her grades are pretty good. So she has A's in reading and social studies and AVID, and she has B's in language arts, science, and math. So overall, really good grades. But first, we'll go over her WIDA scores and what I can do in the classroom to support her, because her WIDA scores are kind of all over the place. So these are based on her 2019 to 2020 year access test results. So for listening, Coco scored a perfect 6 and her ELP goal was a 6, which is great because I know that Coco understands what I'm saying, and if I provide oral instructions or relay information to her orally, she's going to understand it a lot better. So this is a really great advantage for me as a teacher especially. So her can-do descriptors include: discriminate among multiple genres, read orally, evaluate the intent of speech and act accordingly, and use oral information to accomplish grade level tasks. So anyways, this is really great that she has a good listening score, because now I can kind of focus more on the other areas such as speaking. So for speaking, she'll need help developing more academic language. She's really good with BICS, but the academic language is not there. So she scored a 2.1 and her goal was a 3. The can-do descriptors include ask for clarification, stating opinions, retelling and rephrasing ideas, and stating main or big ideas. So to develop her speaking skills to help get her to that level 3, I want to structure my class to allow for more small group discussions and opportunities for speaking. So using SIOP feature number 6 that integrates lesson concepts with opportunities for language practice in speaking, I'll have students participate in a jigsaw. So since she's weaker in negotiating meaning within group discussions, this is going to give her a bunch of practice doing that, especially if I keep the group small, so it's less intimidating. So I'll group students into 3s with this in assigned text, and then they work together to read the text, read one at a time, and then they evaluate and figure out what the text is about together, and then they come back and they tell their original groups obviously what the text was about, what they learned, important vocabulary. So anyways, she'll have the ability to cooperate with other students and then practice her speaking, especially with restating and paraphrasing what she learned in her initial table group for the jigsaw activity. So for reading, Coco's WIDA score was 1.9 and her ELP goal was a 2. So she's just about there. The can-do descriptors include finding information like titles and graphs from the text structure, locating main ideas in a series of simple sentences using bilingual dictionaries and glossaries. However, she struggles to identify summaries of passages and also struggles to identify figurative language. So for Coco, I'll definitely need to use SIOP feature number 5 to adapt reading content to her level of proficiency to help her get to that too. So this will kind of help remove some of those barriers such as tough vocabulary and figurative language and metaphors and things like that. So for example, I can adapt the text if there's the word celestial in it. I could put the word heavenly in there, or say something like in the sky, that she'll be able to understand. It makes more sense to her than a word like celestial. So this is going to be really important for independent reading, stuff that she's doing on her own. Because if she's working in a group, she can, use the help of her group to figure out the meanings of text a little bit easier, or words. So this is really good for individual work. And so for writing, Coco has a WIDA score of 3.1 and her ELP goal is a 4. Her can-do descriptors include justifying ideas, using transition words to link passages, and taking notes and paraphrasing and summarizing text, and also using details and examples to support ideas. So using this information, I can use this information to get her to a level 4. So I want her to be able to do things like create multiple paragraph essays, and with that she can use her strengths to like using transition words, and I want her to be able to critique literary essays or articles to get her to that 4, that WIDA score 4. So she'll need to be able to do that. So For Coco, to get her to that level anyways, I want to implement PSYOP feature number 15 to help her critique text to learn how to support and justify ideas. So for example, I can have the entire class read a text and participate in questioning the author, where they jot down questions about the text or something that doesn't make sense to them, or if they just simply want to question the author, why did the author include this? So for Coco specifically, I'll provide a list with some sentence frames that she can expand on while she's reading, such as I was confused about, or putting what did the author mean when they said, and then she can fill that in if she has questions. What does this mean? Or I'm confused about this. So it's a great way to practice her writing and also learn how to critique what she is reading, which also will also help her develop the ability to justify her own ideas, because she'll be able to understand text better and form better opinions about the text in a critical way. So for creating paragraphs and essays, I'll implement PSYOP feature number 12, which differentiates supports based on her level of proficiency. So I can provide, if we're writing essays or multiple paragraphs, assignments, I can provide a graphic organizer that we work together. Just like it will list her idea and then 2 supports from the text for each of those ideas. And then we can work through like creating the essay, like start with the intro. That would be on the graphic organizer, like intro, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, etc. And I can also help her kind of get a head start by putting sentence frames on how to start those paragraphs, so that she knows what she's doing or where to start. So testing and accommodations in the classroom. So for state tests, accommodations and designated supports are applied to both the SBAC ELA and the SBAC math test, but not the ISAT science test. However, the ELP does not state what accommodations are to be made for testing, so I don't really know about that yet, but they do list classroom accommodations on the ELP. So the first one is allowing retakes and test corrections of classroom assignments and tests. So to try and prevent Coco from failing and kind of having to retake, which obviously she can, but I want to give her as much as possible the opportunity to listen to the answers being stated orally, being asked orally, because she'll be able to understand it. Her listening is really good, so I think this is more fair. Also, for more high stakes assignments and tests, I can give her the option to have those tests and assignments translated to Spanish, obviously, so that she can read them in her native language. And then allowing tests and notes to be taken. This is another accommodation, is allowing tests and notes to be taken in the ELL room. So since Coco, she gets easily distracted and she likes to talk to other students because her base is really there, she'll need a quiet environment to do more diligent tasks like independent note taking. So to limit distraction, she can go in the hallway and take notes, or go in the ELL room. And I can also provide a paper that has like a guided notes, so that she knows what to do on the assignment. Also, one accommodation is extra time for assignments and assessments to ensure that she's held to the same high standard. She, as all my other students, she can have obviously more time to complete the assignment. And also, I want to reduce the number of questions on assignments so that she can focus all of her attention on completing them really well instead of rushing through. Obviously, English is not her native language, so she's going to need a lot more time than other students to kind of get to the bottom of the questions, what's being asked, and how to go about answering. So I want to reduce the number of questions. For assessments, to limit the cognitive load, I'm not going to reduce the questions. I probably won't, but I can break up the assessment so she can take it in parts. Like one day she does the first half and one day she does the other half of the assessment, just so that I still need to know if she knows the content. So I don't want to reduce the questions, but she can have more time to focus on them by them being broken up into different days, and it's less cognitive load.